Robin Hood begins with terrible oppression and tyranny in England, and King Richard has gone off to fight the Crusades, and in his place he's left Prince John, and Prince John is sort of a bully. He and his men, including the Sheriff of Nottingham, are all about going about collecting money for their own personal gain.
We really pick up the story that our hero is returning from a life-altering experience and coming back, hoping that he can just come back and settle down and live a quiet life. And instead he comes back and he finds that everything has changed and everything has gotten much worse.
People are poor, and their leaders and don't really seem to care about them, and instead of just sort of laying down and complying, he stands up to it and says, no, that's not okay that we're doing this. And so people rally around behind him, and eventually he joins them and leads them against the Sheriff of Nottingham, Prince John, and they outsmart him and outwit him, and at the end of the play everyone ends up getting what they deserve. And because of the sword fighting in Robin Hood and the stage combat that's in Robin Hood, we have to have weapons that look period, that sound period, when they hit each other, and at the same time they have to be safe.
With the fight choreography, as with a dance move, you sort of start slow and you learn a couple of choice moves, and then from there we speed it up and add drama and add, emotional attachment to it, and the dialogue as well, which in a lot of the scenes you'll see that it's inserted among dialogue.
The most important thing about stage combat is that it has to be safe.
And every show, before we do anything else, the first thing we do is we review every fight, we run it in slow motion, and then we run it at full speed, basically for safety's sake, and so everybody remembers where everything is.
The good rule of thumb is that for every minute of combat that you see on stage, there's about 4 hours of rehearsal that goes into it. We spent a good deal of time working out very carefully all of the moves in all of the fights, and there are places where we have 7 or 8 people fighting on stage at the same time, and all of those little set pieces of those fights have been taken out and they've been choreographed, and they're pretty precise in terms of what has to happen.
It's almost like putting together a musical. You're choreographing literally production numbers where people are fighting and being beaten and being killed.
The beginning of the rehearsal process, we took all of the actors who were going to be involved in those sword fights, and we taught them how those swords were used, how they were held, and, what they had to do with their feet. We talked to them about how to do things safely, and at first they went very, 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 very slowly, and then as we've gotten more involved in rehearsal and closer to opening, the tempo of those fights have picked up, and we've started to add some flourishes, and we've started to add some things that make the fighting style of each particular combatant specific to his or her character a little bit.
It is my job as fight captain to make sure that everything's happening the way it's supposed to. With that being said, it's actually been a lot of fun to be fight captain for this particular production, because Andrew is a literal master in stage combat, and I've been learning a lot from him about how to put together what are essentially dances with weapons.
He's more than just a fight captain. He's really kind of a co-choreographer. He's really been very involved from the beginning of the process in terms of how the fight should look, what should happen, the timing of certain things, and we've worked very well together. So I would say he's contributed just as much to those sequences of the play as I have, and deserves just as much credit.
Maid Marian in this version is very smart. She's very much a woman ahead of her time, very feisty. She's very passionate. She kind of meets her match in Robin, actually.
Some of the common plot lines that are through all of the different versions of Robin Hood stem from Gertrude and her evil brain. She is the one that suggests a prize for the winner of the archery tournament, and she is also the one that suggests, well, the real way of getting Robin Hood is to attack his greatest weakness, which is his love for the people.
She's definitely a handful. She has grand designs to be a social climber and be wealthy and maybe one day become a lady. So
I don't think that this is a play where you just sort of sit back and watch. I think this is a play where you cheer the villain and boo the enemy. I think that people will really get into it.
Gisborne! Where are you? I need you to tell these people, collect their taxes at the door, sell them the tickets, so they'll come see the Legend of Robin Hood.
I would very much like for you to come and see the show, but don't hurt me. I'm innocent here.
Come see the show. What? Up.
A show well worth watching.
I encourage you to come see this show. I have said for years that women are the strength behind the scenes. You will see this firsthand. My husband is an idiot.
Oh, she's just, just lovely to live with.
So come to see Robin Hood, The Legend of Sherwood, and
Maid Marian.
she's very important.